All right, the holiday season can cause mixed feelings for a family affected by Alzheimer's disease or other dementia. With typically a time for celebration, families may experience a sense of loss for the same things used to be. For caregivers, the holidays may create added work.
The Alzheimer's Foundation of America has tips to help families affected by dementia enjoy the spirit of the season in a dementia-friendly way. Cliff and I had the chance to talk to AFA's Director of Communications about this. Check it out.
Chris Schneider, thank you for joining us this morning. A great topic to talk about, one that's also very timely as well. The Alzheimer's Foundation of America, for dealing with people who have dementia. Tell us a little bit about the AFA.
Well, first, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you having me on. So the Alzheimer's Foundation of America is a national nonprofit organization that was founded by a family caregiver 20 years ago, Bert Brodsky. His mother lived with Alzheimer's disease from 1980 to about 1992. And at that time, he really felt like he was dealing with this alone, that there was nowhere to turn for guidance, there was no support, there were no helplines, there were no programs. Aside from talking to his mother's physician, he really felt very isolated and had to deal with this all on his own. So he created the Alzheimer's Foundation of America 20 years ago to be the place that families like his could turn to if Alzheimer's or another dementia-related illness is part of their life. So we have a helpline, we have support groups, we have caregiving resources, we fund research for a cure, and we're designed to be that place that if Alzheimer's is in your life, turn to us because we're here to help.
And thanks to that, a lot of resources are available. Now, there are some steps that families, partners, and friends caring for someone with dementia should consider. What are those?
Well, the holiday season is a joyous time, but it can also be very stressful, even for those of us who are not living with dementia. And if you have a dementia-related illness or if you're caring for somebody with dementia, there could be added stresses as well. So it's important for families to be proactive, prepared, and take steps that can help their loved one enjoy the spirit of the holiday season in a dementia-friendly manner. So some of the steps that they can take and consider taking, you don't want to over-decorate. You know, a lot of times there could be a desire to have a whole bunch of different lights and interactive things and loud noises and really put on a spectacle. You don't want that for somebody living with dementia, right? Because that can cause overstimulation, that can cause disorientation. So you want to try to keep things festive, but you want to keep them simple. And you also want to try to phase in those decorations over maybe a period of a couple days so that you're not changing the person's environment all at once and making it unfamiliar and creating that disorientation.
All right, great.
You also want to make sure. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Step number 2. I was just saying that's a great first step. Absolutely. A lot of people probably don't think about that.
Yeah. Step number 2 is you want to make sure that the environment is safe and accessible. So you want to avoid tripping hazards. So make sure that if you have wires for different decorations, that they're not on the floor where someone can trip. You want to avoid clutter. You want to try to use electric candles versus candles that are lit. You want to make sure that if you have a Christmas tree, that it's mounted to the wall. If you're using a menorah or a kinara, that those candles are electric, not flammable, because that just enhances the environment for safety's sake.
And step number 3, what would you call that?
Well, you want to adapt past traditions and you want to create new ones, because maybe there are certain traditions that you enjoyed and that the person enjoyed over the years, but now they can't do them in the exact same manner. So adapt them. So if they always like to bake cookies or send out holiday cards and maybe they can't do it in the same way that they did before, adapt it. Have them help you or help them send out holiday cards. Maybe they can stuff the envelopes, maybe they can stamp them, but don't just do it for them and exclude them from the process. As much as possible, involve your loved one, and also for yourself, involve them and ask them what traditions are important to them, because it can help you plan and prioritize and reduce some stress for yourself as well.
Now, let me ask you this. Is it okay to create new traditions, or should you always stick to something familiar from the past?
It's a great question, and it's absolutely okay to create new traditions. Maybe, and you want to build them around, again, what the person likes to do and also what they are able to do. Focus on what they can do, don't dwell on what they can no longer do. So Maybe a tradition is if your neighborhood is decorated with a lot of holiday lights and you want to take a walk or a drive and enjoy those together, that can be something that you do. If you have familiar songs from the person's past that they like, maybe you sing them together. Maybe you watch old movies together that they used to enjoy. You can build those new holiday traditions and embrace the spirit of the season, because that's what it's all about. It's all about being together and having a joyful holiday.
You know, the AFA is not just for people with dementia, but also helping out the people who help people with dementia. Why is it so important, especially during the holiday season, for people to be able to ask for help?
Because no one can or should try to do this all on their own. Caring for someone who has dementia creates a lot of stress. It's a demanding thing to do. It's definitely a labor of love that a lot of people find very personally rewarding, that they're able to care for somebody at a time of their life where they're going through a difficult period. But it can also be very exhausting. It can be very stressful. And you don't want, as a caregiver, to compromise yourself, because if you're compromised and you burn out, or if you're ill, you can't then provide the care that your loved one needs. So it's important to reach out for help and support, whether it's connecting with services, whether it's just having a sympathetic ear to listen to. And I would say a great place to do that is through the AFA helpline, which is staffed entirely by licensed social workers that are specifically trained in dementia care. It's open 7 days a week. It's accessible by phone, 866-232-8484, text message, 646-586-5283, and web chat through our website, which is alzfdn.org. And that web chat and text message feature can actually serve individuals in more than 90 different languages. Wow. So if you know someone who predominantly, maybe they speak Spanish, maybe they speak another language other than English, they can get that help and support without language being a barrier.
Wow, really interesting right there.
Great
Chris,
information.
Thank you so much for shining a light on an important topic, especially with the holidays approaching.
Thank you again so much for having me on. Happy holidays.
Back at you, sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you.